This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a decision by a supposedly conservative Supreme Court. It's about free speech and a powerful symbol of the nation. The court ruled today that burning the American flag as a form of political protest is a right protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution. The decision reflects a very divided court. The debate, as always, deeply divides the country. Our first report is from our law correspondent, Tim O'Brien.
Today's ruling involved this demonstration during the Republican National Convention in 1984, a demonstration that included the burning of the American flag. Gregory Johnson drew a $2,000 fine and a year in prison for violating a Texas law that makes the desecration of the flag a felony. Today, the Supreme Court ruled such laws violate the First Amendment right to free speech and set aside Johnson's conviction.
I think it's an important victory that, it's tremendous that the government was forced to back off.
The court was sharply split. Justice William Brennan for the majority. The government may not prohibit the expression of an idea simply because society finds it offensive or disagreeable. That would dilute the freedom that this cherished emblem represents. Two Reagan appointees, Antonin Scalia and Anthony Kennedy, both conservatives, provided crucial votes for the 5-judge majority. The 4 dissenters were led by Chief Justice William Rehnquist, who complained the government may conscript men to fight and perhaps die for the flag, but with today's ruling may not prohibit the public burning of the banner under which they fight. Flag burning is the equivalent of an inarticulate grunt or roar, said the Chief Justice, most likely not intended to express any particular idea, but to antagonize others. The ruling, which cast doubt on laws in nearly every state against desecrating the flag, produced sharp reaction.
Well, there's been a lot of talk lately about how the Supreme Court of the United States is tilting right. Well, the day it didn't tilt right, it tilted wrong.
The flag is a symbol of national unity and deserves respect.
What the flag is all about, after all, is a vindication of American freedom. And what the court has done today is to vindicate that freedom.
The court's ruling makes it clear that flag burning, like other demonstrations, may still be prohibited if it's likely to produce violence. The court also made it clear that laws aimed at protecting the flag may not be at the expense of those values the flag has come to represent. Tim O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Well, there's a hint of it there. There are very few decisions by the Supreme Court which we can imagine evoking such a gut reaction as this one involving the flag. The flag means so many things to so many different people. Here's ABC's Jeff Greenfield.
In fact, wars, military and political, have long been a part of the flag's history. There's the legend of Barbara Fritchie telling a column of Confederate soldiers, "Shoot if you must this old gray head, but spare your country's flag." They spared her and the flag. There's the timeless photo of American soldiers raising the flag at Iwo Jima. But it was the domestic upheaval over Vietnam 20 years ago that began a war at home over the flag. It was burned by radical opponents of the war as a symbol that they repudiated their government. In turn, conservatives across the country began to display the flag, in lapel pins, for example, as a symbol of their political beliefs. Though the Vietnam War ended almost 15 years ago, the use of the flag as an overtly political symbol has not dimmed. In 1984, Democrats waved thousands of flags at their convention to demonstrate that they were as patriotic as Ronald Reagan. Last year, George Bush used the flag to suggest that Michael Dukakis did not share mainstream values.
Should public school teachers be required to lead our children in the Pledge of Allegiance? My opponent says no, and I say yes.
Why is flag burning so controversial? Because, as with any strong symbol, it triggers powerful emotions, much as a cross burning seems an act of desecration, or a parade with swastikas stirs memories of horror. So when an artist stages an exhibit that requires a viewer to step on the flag, and the rockets went where, it's guaranteed to outrage those for whom the flag symbolizes pride of country or personal sacrifice. If flag burning is speech, and today's bitterly divided court shows how controversial a notion that is, it is speech deliberately designed to provoke, to offend. That's exactly what the burning of the American flag will always do. Jeff Greenfield, ABC News, New York.
Just one other note about the flag today. In Las Cruces, New Mexico, a man was found guilty of violating the city's anti-noise laws. A neighbor objected to the snapping and popping noise made by his flag as it waved on windy days. In a moment, China announces the first execution since the crackdown began. And later in the broadcast, why schools in America are beginning to teach the so-called old-fashioned values again, and remembering the values of 3 young men who died in the freedom summer of 1964.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Imodium AD.